Hey, what's up? Welcome to Move Fast, Lift Heavy podcast. I'm your host, Joe Roscoe. We'll be bringing on our co-host and founder of Move Fast, Lift Heavy, Christian Harris, in just a second. But for those of you that have been listening along to the podcast, thank you so much. Please subscribe, follow along, write a comment, rate the podcast if you like us. We'd greatly appreciate it. Make sure you check us out on the Instagram at Move Fast, Lift Heavy. Or go to our website, movefastliftheavy.com. Try a free trial of our online training program. We've kicked that off in the new year. It's been going really well. Lots of great results from our crew. So if you want to try a free trial, go to the website, movefastliftheavy.com. Or you can check out the gear that's been dropping all the time. Open season just released, sold out like fire. Maybe you can DM Christian and beg him to bring some more back. And we have more drops to come. Christian's going to come on and chat about it right now.
What up?
What up?
What's going on?
Good.
So,
good. Open season just flew off the shelf, right?
It's here, yeah. For the second time, we re-released it due to some demand, and just like that, it's gone again. However, this upcoming Monday, we have the split second drop. I kind of have a little bit of a preview going on here. The split second drop is dropping on Monday. So make sure you have your alarm set, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and get ready to get some gear.
This was the video that was just posted on the Instagram, right? Kind of teasing that.
So yesterday we actually teased the Move collection, which is our first take at performance wear. So men's and women's, leggings, sports bras, compression shorts, workout shorts, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast on a podcast platform, you can hop on over to our YouTube and check out the shirt Christian has on right now from the split second line. But just keep on track with what we got going on our Instagram at Move Fast Lift Heavy. All right, we were chatting a little about the Open starting today, Thursday. Here we are finally of this 3-week Open. What are your initial thoughts?
It's only 3 weeks. I love it. It comes and it's gonna go, right? Like the past years that it's been 5. I think there was even 6 one year. It could kind of drag out for a little bit. So 3 weeks is definitely nice, short and sweet.
Cool. Well, I want to bring on our guest and also have you two chat a little bit about your Open experiences and just your past, because you all are buddies before this episode. So we're going to be bringing on the founder of the Chestee, and let's just do it right now. Nicole Biscuiti, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's nice to be here.
For those that don't know, Nicole she's a very wondrous woman. She's got a lot of things that she's done in the past, and she's got a lot of things going on. From what I know, she has competed in weightlifting, in CrossFit. She's an entrepreneur and an inventor. That's something I'm pretty stoked about. She's an inventor and just an overall good chick with good vibes.
Thank you. I couldn't have asked for a nicer, more kind introduction. Thank you, CH. The feeling's mutual. Joe, CH and I don't speak often, but when we do, it's a lot of, I see you, keep going. I love everything that you're doing, and I'll see you on the other side. That's basically what it's like.
For sure.
We, the life. It's balancing a lot of things. Small business owners do not wear one hat. They wear multiple in not just a day, but in an hour. And the relationships that you do have. For me, at least, this is a very important one. It's impactful. It's made a difference in my life. And even though we don't talk all the time, when we do, you just pick right back up where you left off, because of that foundation that we share, right? Like, there has been a lot of struggle. There has been a lot of doubt. There's been more failure than success, but all of that, I think, has taught us something, and we have similar lessons that we've learned and shared. So I think it's pretty cool. And we're here now. We're doing it.
Let's back it up to the start of either your journey in fitness or CrossFit, or how it all led to the Chestee and your pursuit to launch this thing.
The Chestee was born during a time period in my life where I legitimately thought I was going to go and win the games. I think it's good to have dreams. I also think it's fun to be slightly delusional here and there. CH and I were just talking, and we've been in this game for about the same length of time. And I started competing in CrossFit in 2012 when the landscape of the sport looked a lot different. This was
a whole lot different. Yeah,
a whole lot different. I mean, for a female competitor to do a 200-pound clean, I remember watching Becca Voigt do that and getting goosebumps and being like, one day I will be there, with my 125-pound, max clean at the time. I was like, put that on the board thinking like, I will get there at some point. And now, I mean, what the numbers are of these female athletes now. It's just like, that's 75% in a working set for triples. So, the sport has just changed so much. But going back to, when kind of this all first started, the Chestee idea was born at Wodapalooza. I was one of the only female competitors. You remember Telena Fortunato? How can you forget her, right?
Yeah, Spider Monkey, right?
Yes, exactly. She and I were the only two females in what they then called the Road to the Games division. And Guido, the event organizer and founder, came to us in between events, and he's like, hey, ladies, would you mind if we put you in the next heat with the guys? The reason is, and he went into like the whole, event planning, thing, right? He's like, here's the thing. Like, we're asking the attendees to move from here to here to watch you guys. We got a DJ, this and that, it would be a lot easier if we can just combine efforts. And there are so few competitors in relationship to what Wodapalooza has turned into now. We were like, okay, sure. So we were literally competing the rest of the weekend alongside the guys, which was fun. I didn't care because I knew I wasn't winning anything. Telena, though, she said to him, well, hang on. Am I going to be scored against the guys? Because I'm here for that prize purse. I remember her being like, I came to win. And that is what I love so much about the sport in general. Like, there's so much camaraderie, there's so much community, but at the end of the day, you're trying to be the best version of yourself. And she came to compete. And I love that. And I love learning about that.
What year was that?
So that was 2012, I think.
Okay.
You will learn about me. I'm real bad at numbers, dates, times, things of that nature. I mean, I was able to get on here on time, which is great, but dates are kind of hazy for me. But there was an event, it was a 20-minute AMRAP. The weight for the shoulder to overhead was 145 pounds for the female bar. It had been sitting, which by the way was my body weight back then. So, I'm being asked to do, like a significant amount of volume, shoulder to overhead. The barbells are new, of course. So the knurling's like a cheese grater to your skin. And they've been sitting out in that Miami sun and the Miami heat for hours. So as soon as I took the barbell off the rack and it touched my skin, it literally like left a red mark. And this is before I'm even like starting the workout or doing the work. So I re-racked it after a couple of reps. And I said to my judge, this is just going to take a second. And I took my shirt off and I stuffed it into the straps of my sports bra, kind of like a reverse cape, to put like fabric between where the barbell was landing and my skin. And that was literally my aha moment where I was like, oh, I need to make something like this. I need to do this. And that was it. That was the weekend event. I went into the gym the following week and I took a pair of knee sleeves that we all wear when we're squatting, you know, the compression knee sleeves.
The smelly ones?
They were ultra smelly because they were still damp from a previous workout and like marinating in my gym bag with all the other stuff that I leave in there in, you know, the back of my car, which is also 89 to 95 degrees in the heat because I live in South Florida. So they were extra smelly. And I took them, I cut them in half, and we sewed them into a rash guard that surfers wear just because I needed a really tight fit. And that was the first Chestee prototype. It worked like a charm. It was hideous, but it worked. And that was kind of the start of my journey. That was a long time ago. It's wild.
Awesome.
Were you starting from scratch as far as like, had you ever thought of inventing something in the past? Had you ever been in the apparel business? Like where did you start this as far as experience?
I didn't know where to start. I was at the time working in the marketing and public relations department for Bloomingdale. So while I had access to, you know, garments, fashion, etc., I never went to fashion school. I don't even know, you know, I had to learn what a top stitch is versus a cover stitch. Literally had no idea what kind of fabric, what fabric even meant. You know, you look at now, you know, CH, you're a designer too. Your stuff is fire, but you know, you look at fabric weight and you're like, I know what GSM means now. Back then I was literally like, I have no idea what this stuff means. Right. So I didn't know where to start. I actually walked downstairs. My office was on the second level at the Bloomingdale's building. Like they had their executives actually work in the store. I walked downstairs to where all the seamstresses worked. And I found one of my girlfriends who worked there. And I said, hey, can I talk to you in your off time? Like, can you call me tomorrow? I have something that I need to do. And that's how the conversation started. And I talked to a lot of people who were the wrong people, or, you know, weren't doing the right job or didn't do the job that I needed, but I didn't know any better. You know, I just went to her and I said, this is what I need you to basically sew for me. And I went to Michael's and I bought fabric, and I bought, back then it was like this weird cotton padding, almost like what you would make a pillow out of, like what you would stuff into a pillow. Again, right. Really started from zero, had no concept of anything. Which, by the way, now the neoprene guards, they're made out of A-grade, like scuba diving neoprene gear. And we measure them in millimeters, 3, 5, 6 millimeters, something like that. So now it's super high tech. Back then, the first sample that she gave me, it literally looked like a costume from Peter Pan. When I said, I need you to make me a collar, she literally made me like a Victorian collar that went like this. You know, like in a business shirt, like it would curved edges and it had like weird pillow padding in there. I'm like, this is gonna be a no. And it was years of that, you guys, like literally years of doing that until I found the right place.
When do you feel like you nailed the first one? Like, all right, this is what it is, and I think this is, you know, our first prototype of, you know, what we want to bring to the masses.
What's interesting is I didn't find the one until we had already launched. So we came out with the first line of Chestees, which were actually shirts. They were because Chestee is CHESTEE. So my thought in that was they were shirts with chest guards in them, right? Because that's what we were making. So we released that in 2014, I think, at Wadapalooza, and Brooke Entz was wearing the kind of like skimpier version of it. It was teal. Of course, I don't come out the gate with like simple black that everyone wants to wear, black, white, or gray. No, your girl comes out with purple, fuchsia, and like a teal. all the jewel tones, which is ridiculous. They look like Barbie's birthday party, but whatever. I wanted to be like bright and fun and tropical, and it was at Wadapalooza. So that's
Miami, right?
It was Miami. They were literally Miami Vice colors, CH. Like, that's what it was. Anyway, Brooke Entz was wearing this tank top version, and that was the one that sold the best because everyone saw it on her, right? Like, there was a lot of media around it. She put it on her social media, and she wore it for the clean event that weekend. Well, back then I only made a couple hundred units of everything. It's not like I had money. I borrowed $5,000 from my mom to make that run. So it wasn't like I had all this, like, I didn't have an investor. We still don't, actually, but yeah, I was working with very limited resources. Therefore, I had the time to call every single person, every single customer that I sold a Chestee to get feedback. And that's when I learned that I wasn't making the right stuff, because I called every single person, and the women who had bought this kind of tank top version, the teal one that I was just referring to that Brooke wore, they said, yeah, it's really great. It's doing the job of, protecting my collarbone. That's awesome. But there's like no support for the girls. And I kind of paused, and I was like, well, what do you mean? Aren't you like wearing a sports bra underneath it? Another awkward pause, and every single person said, no, I thought this was a sports bra. That's when I was like, shit, I'm making sports bras now. Like, we're not making.
The second light bulb went off.
Yes, exactly. So that's when I knew that we had a really good, I guess, concept. And that's when I started making only what you see today, which are the Chestee sports bras. So they're actual ribcage bands, bust support. It's a sports bra. It has our patented technology in it. But it's really interesting when you listen to your customers and you ask questions, you'll get a lot of really important data from them. Even today, 7 years later, people write in all the time and they're like, hey, I love this style, but it would be better if you had XYZ. And I'm like, you know what? That is a really good point. It would be better. We should do that. Or people would write in or call us and say, which, by the way, we do have a phone number that we actually answer. I'm really proud of that. It's usually either me or my brother answering the phone, but we'll pick up the phone, and once in a while, I would say it happens probably once a month, a customer will say, hey, I have this idea. Have you ever thought about doing this? It just happened last month. Someone was like, it's really hard to get out of sports bras when they're sweaty. You guys don't know this, but it is true. It's like your second workout or third workout, trying to get out of these things, because they're meant to hold you in and provide support. And, your struggle bus at the end of like a 2-hour workout, and you have to get these things off of your sweaty body. Anyway, she suggested using either Velcro or hardware. So we're actually in development with that now. And that's purely an unsolicited, email that we got from a customer, which is pretty rad.
To take it off.
Basically, because yes, she's like, they're too hard to get on and off. It's like, of course they have to be snug. Of course they need to fit high on your neck. And a lot of people say, I can't wear Chestee because I don't do high neck sports bras in general. I feel claustrophobic, or I feel like I can't breathe. I get it, but there's no way to do collarbone protection along your neckline if you're not willing to wear a high neck sports bra. So that's just something that, we can't service that customer yet. We have other patents pending for other products and other gear, but at the moment, I don't know, you're just going to have to wear your war scars, I guess, if you will. But yeah, we get customer feedback all the time, and it's really telling.
Yeah. So that's like a cool little concept, right? Patent pending, right? Not a lot of people know about that whole process and like really what goes into that. Can you explain a little bit about what goes into that process of actually creating something from scratch and getting a patent for it, and the headaches and all that kind of stuff that go into it?
I would just like to point out the coffee mug that I'm using today. Wait, let me turn it so you can see.
Oh, nice.
So this is my favorite $9 coffee mug purchase of my life. I got it in at the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. in the US. And my brother and I went up there together with our attorney for our final. It's not customary that you go in person. Usually you just kind of like wait for the mail to come, but we were like, this is really important to us. So we went, and it's an option to do that. So we met with our inspector and we were granted the patent that day. So I went straight to the gift shop and bought that coffee mug. But awesome. let me back up. There are certain things that are required to be able to be granted a patent. And we have multiple patents, not just design patents, but utility patents. And the utility patents are the ones that are the most valuable because that's protecting the functionality of the item or the product that you are granted a patent on. So with Chestee, one of our utility patents covers the functionality of having, this cushion or guard along the neckline. What's interesting about that is you as an applicant, we want to be as broad as possible because we want to be able to make as many products as possible under that umbrella. Meaning, I didn't just limit it to female garments. It doesn't say anything about sports bras. So we can also use our patented technology in men's garments as well, which we'll get into with the DANDO Defender and all of that. However, it's the U.S. Patent and Trademarks Attorney's Office to get as narrow as possible, and you generally meet somewhere in the middle. They are going to look at historical data, and they're going to look at what already exists in their database, what has already been done, and they are going to limit you in what you're able to patent based on what has already been an idea that has been patented. For example, we've made leggings. This is back when we were messing with leggings. We made leggings with Shin Guards in them. Really cool. It's great for like deadlifts, snatches, box jumps, rope climbs, but there was no way that we'd be able to get a patent on that product, for example, because Shin Guards have existed in this world forever. As a matter of fact, when we were getting through the process of getting a patent for Chestee, the things that were coming up were wild. One of them was a legitimate pocket protector. Why? Because it's in the same area that the user is going to wear this. It's still a layer between the skin and between the fabric. Technical details and words are so important with patents. There was also something it was basically like a paper thin fabric that was used to essentially quick dry. That was something that came up. There were things that came up with vests that had zippers. And, the process is, you have to have a lot of patience, which I do not. Thankfully, somewhere along this journey between 2016 and 2017, my brother joined Chestee and brought with him all the patience and willingness to read contracts and ability to do numbers and Excel spreadsheets, from his very military Marine Corps days. He joined the company and kind of stepped in and was like, I don't know what kind of shit show you have going on here, but we're just going to try to swim through this together. And I'm going to try to make sense of it. And so he has done that. And he has certainly helped with they're called child patents. So once you're granted a patent, you can apply, CH, to your point about patent pending, then you can apply for other patents that are children of the parent patent. And then you can have your other concepts and ideas if they fall under the same kind of category or theology. And for us, it was always recommended that you want to be patent pending, kind of in perpetuity or for as long as you can be. So we have multiple patents granted, and we are really proud to have that. It does add some, it substantiates what we're doing in the marketplace. It will prevent other people from coming in and doing the same thing because we already own the patent on that. But we're also patent pending, and those things can remain private or unpublished for a specific amount of time. Sorry if I just like went through like a patent lesson, but this is what my attorney does to you. And it just recently happened. So it's top of mind.
No, it's great. So jumping into your brother coming on board, and now you also are entering a venture that you had mentioned, DANDO. Can you kind of give us the background on that?
Sure. CH, you met my brother. He is me without all the head hair, but more facial hair. He is, he's like basically my twin, but we're not twins. I'm 2.5 years older than him. He is everything that I am not. He is organized. He's on time, which I'm getting better at. You need that balance. Yes, we need that balance. He's still in the Marine Corps. He's in the he works with the Department of Defense. He's in counterintelligence. So he does a lot of assignments and travels quite a bit, although he has a 4-year-old and a wife who love him to stay home. So he is trying to balance that. He's basically full-time with them and full-time with Chestee. But what we ended up doing is we are now separating the Chestee shorties that have like a cult following that we've done, with Move Fast, Lift Heavy. We've done collaborations with y'all, and we'd love to do more moving forward with our new entity that's launching in the fall called DANDO. DANDO. It means in Spanish and Italian, which we're Italian, it means giving or to give. And it's a very similar give back model to Tom's, where the customer, once they purchase their shorties or the DANDO Defender, which is the kind of men's shirt version of the Chestee sports bra, they can choose what charitable organization they want their purchase to benefit at checkout. And we're giving a substantial amount of each purchase back to those charities that are going to be vetted and listed for full transparency on our website. So my brother's very passionate about that. It's quite literally our Chestee's brother company. So we're kind of labeling it as that. So that's coming soon.
I love it. That's great.
Thanks. Yeah, we needed to kind of like separate, we have such an interesting dynamic with our community. And, the reason I started making shorties candidly is because a lot of guys would come to the booth, whether it's with their teammate or with their girlfriend or wife or just friend from the gym, and they would be super bored because they're not really that interested in watching them, waiting around for them, shopping for sports bras. And it takes some time finding your right size if you're buying a sports bra for the first time. And I'm like, you know what? I need something for these guys to buy, or at least to look at or to shop. So we started making like wild, crazy, fun patterned shorties that you can train in the gym or swim in. And then we started pairing them back to the Chestees because everyone wants to do like the whole, we're doing a team competition and matchy. So we did that, and it's been really fun. Probably won't, be in luck if you're plain and you just want like a plain gray short. Probably, going to need to go somewhere else for that. But we're doing some fun patterns and prints.
Absolutely. I've worn a few pairs myself.
I know it. Thank you. You're one of our most favorite models. Top 10 for sure.
So tell us for both of you, when we started the episode, you were talking about the day-to-day hustle of a small business owner and how it's a grind, What's a day in the life for you, or maybe just past experiences of like what it takes to really keep this thing hovering off the ground?
Yeah. CH, I have a feeling our answers are going to run parallel to one another in that no 2 days are the same. They're literally not. I try to eat breakfast or lunch or dinner at the same time. That doesn't even happen. Sometimes I'm like, did I eat breakfast? It's my stomach's telling me I did not. But what I love about small business or entrepreneurship in general is that it's very much like building a lifestyle that you are eventually going to figure out what works for you and for your teams. I I learned early on, and I'm very lucky to have learned this lesson early, that as much as you want to control not only the narrative, but the final product, it's nearly impossible to do that on your own without finding the right team members. And so I like to say in all of our organizations that first, it's important to get the right people on the bus. And then once they're on the bus, we need to make sure they're seated in the right seats, in the right positions. Meaning, just because someone's on the bus doesn't mean you're maximizing their full potential. And it doesn't mean that they're going to be fulfilled in their role. So we take the time and we use the resources and energy to do behavioral assessments for everyone on our team to figure out not only what they're most equipped to do, what they're best built for, but also how they like to be communicated with. And that is a very valuable skill and tool to have when you're running teams that are growing. We do this with all of our sales teams. And I say all, like there's so many. We have 6 people on our sales team. They're all unicorns. They're all, part-time. They're doing this out of like love and passion for the brand and for the fitness community. They're not doing it because they're like paying their mortgage with this. They are doing it for fun. We've done this test and this process with our sales teams, as well as everyone on our leadership team, myself and my brother included. And so you learn a lot about people. It's like taking a personality test for dating, like seeing, what you guys have in common and how you're going to need to bend to accommodate the other person. It's like that, but for business. And so we've utilized a lot of these resources. And one thing that fortunately I've never had a problem with is asking for help. Some people do, and I will tell you that I've watched them struggle. People who want to do this on their own, people who are too proud or too controlling to ask for help will fail at something that is important to them, whether because they're either burning themselves out and burning the candle at both ends, or they're not maximizing their own time because they're trying to do everything and they're trying to control it. But so for me, now in this COVID world where we used to have meetings or where I used to travel to see people in person, it's been replaced with Zoom calls, and that's fine. I do try to limit the amount of time that I'm staring into a computer screen just because I see that my eyesight's changing just in the last year. Oh, yeah. I try to limit it to like 4 or 5 hours because, it's not good to even sit that long. We were meant to move and stretch and sweat and not have our hips hinged and closed this long sitting. Right. So it's a lot of communicating with teams. I try to kind of block out, I guess, blocks in a day where this is when I'm focusing on marketing. This is when I'm focusing on product development. This is when I'm focusing on sales. And this is when I'm focusing on, team leadership development, all of that. And then my brother does the same thing with the kind of categories that he's in charge of. He focuses on finance or production planning or inventory or logistics. I have no idea how our stuff gets here, but I know we have to pay a lot of money to bring it in. And sometimes we wait because of what's happening in the world. That's his like hat to wear. And it's great because then I don't have to think about it and I can stay in my creative zone.
Yeah. I mean, just like you said, like a lot of parallels that are very similar, but again, a lot of things are different, right? Like where you're saying
adding in 2 hours of training at least.
Yeah. So like, my days are a lot more regimented in terms of what I'm compartmentalizing, right? So, I kind of wake up, I coach, I train, and then I have this block of time that I spend doing, projects for Move Fast, whether that's designing or, just chopping it up, programming, things like that, right? So once you can figure out the things that you're good at, there's obviously the things you're not, and that's where the team comes in, and you need to balance yourself out with those people that they're like-minded, that they want to go to the same path with you, but they are supporting you in a different way and in helping pick up the things that you're not able to pick up. So
absolutely. And you're good at a lot of things, and that's actually a challenge, because then you have to pick and choose what's going to be most impactful for your overall business goals. You're a very talented designer. I don't know how many people have told you that, but I've worked with a lot of them, and you've just got swag. So you want to be able to infuse that into what you're doing. And I'm very excited about your next line that's dropping, by the way. Excited to see it. Yes, of course. But it's how much of that are you going to give versus all the other things that you are tasked with that you're also good at, and it's finding that. And just 2 weeks ago, someone said to me, and I think it's really important, this is a person who went to business school, has been very successful as an athlete, as well as just in his personal life. And he was kind of criticizing how I chose to live my life because it's very hectic. And he said, one piece of advice that I hope you take is you need to build in time, like buffer time, with nothing on your schedule. And I think that's really important. And I'm going to try to do that more. I don't know if it can be done every day, but being hectic and feeling frantic in your mind and in your body helps no one. So I think that he was observing that and suggesting that I build some time in just to kind of like sit and be and think and not even have to say words or type words.
100%. What is it called? Solidarity, right? Like it's super important just for your mind and your personal well-being. So Thursdays is usually a day that I like to try to do that, just to have at least, 1 to 2 hours just to spend doing nothing, right? Just kind of let the mind reset, or if it wants to wander, let it wander. But it's just time to just, like you said, just be.
Yeah, absolutely. I started during the pandemic is actually when I really started doing this, but I would take a weighted vest, and depending on how much I had on my mind, I would load it with between 25 and 55 pounds, and I would just walk. And I found myself at the beach quite often because again, South Florida, I'm very, very fortunate to be able to just walk in 20, 25 minutes. I'm like, here we go, here's sand. But that really helped. And now I've incorporated that into my, kind of daily thing. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast. Sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook. Sometimes I'll listen to nothing. Sometimes I'll listen to music. It just depends, but it's really important to do that. And so, it eventually will get done. Then my favorite boss at Bloomingdale's, used to always, because I was kind of a stress ball when I worked in PR. It was very much like, if you ever watched that movie, Sex and the City, like I was like the crazy person going from like fashion shows to dressing models to photo shoots like that, but in heels and in suits, and like not spilling the 18 cups of coffee I'm trying to deliver to the very, aggro team of people that are sitting around the conference table. And at the end of the day, my boss said to me, Nicole, you need to chill and remember that we sell mini skirts. And I will never forget that. Every once in a while when I'm, a little stressed out, I'll say that to my teams now. At the end of the day, guys, we sell sports bras. We need to chill out. This isn't like life or death.
Speaking of chilling out, the Open. I feel like I've had to have this conversation a couple times, and it's like people put a little bit too much pressure on themselves.
Yes.
With a 7-minute workout or a 12-minute workout, right? It's just a couple of minutes of your day, out of the week, out of the year. And I feel like sometimes people put a little bit too much value on that, to the point that they drive themselves nuts,
I used to be that person, and I used to be that person in the Open. So yes, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, doing this 10 years, right? Like there's probably that wave where it starts here and then it starts to get a little bit more serious and more serious as time goes on. And now that I'm at my 10th year, I'm like, it's just a workout. That's it, you know?
It really is. But for those people who are at this part of their journey with CrossFit and their fitness, I guess, experience, it's a harder lesson to learn at that time for them, because it is, in their mind, 7 minutes that will define their year of training. And it is finding the balance in, it's just a workout and this is everything in my life, and it's meeting in the middle. And experience is what enables us to find that.
100%.
Yeah.
You're not going to know unless you get through that, right? So,
I mean, CH, I distinctly remember one year where I very irresponsibly did one open workout 4 or maybe 5 times. I did one 2 times in a day, and it was not one you do 2 times in a day. It was the thruster burpee one. And no, it was like, I was wrecked. I was wrecked for weeks after that, because it was so important to me. And I was so obsessive over my transition times. And, if I set the chalk bucket up closer, and then
it almost blinds you, right, to everything else in your life.
Right.
It's wild how it does that.
It is wild. It is wild. I would miss, and I read Matt Fraser's, I think, very well written, post essentially about why he's leaving the sport. And I actually, it resonated with me. Not so much like I still use a steak knife to cut steak, but, but it resonated with me in that I was obsessive and I took things way too far. I missed important family things. I made my significant others feel like not important. I literally lived in the gym, and I let a lot of other things go. And at the end of the day, now I can look back on those years and say, it wasn't worth it. However, it taught me a lesson. And so in my opinion, you're either winning or you're learning, right? You're never like actually losing something. Yeah. And so I learned a lot of very important lessons, and I have really funny memories. I got in my car one time and drove from South Florida to Sarasota, where my girlfriend was about to compete. She was also freaking out about this. It was about the 7-minute burpee workout, CA, freaking out. She's like, I need you here. And I was like, yeah, I need to be here for you. I got in my car and drove 3.5 hours to watch her do burpees. Like, this is
for
where
7 minutes.
This is where we were at in our lives, Like, I came in guns blazing, and I was like, okay. She had a piece of wood. I don't know if you saw people do this, but they would stack up boxes.
Yeah. This is.
And then they had the piece of wood to be able to reach the top because it was measured. We were like, all the strategy went into this. And I just screamed at her to her face for 7 minutes while she did burpees. And that was something that I thought was a reasonable thing to do at the time. It's crazy.
Christian, Christian, do you have a story like that? So both times I've been dead on my feet during the open. Farouk Hussein happened to be there. Farouk is a guy from Dynamics that I don't know if you know Farouk or not.
I know Farouk, yeah.
Okay, cool. And he didn't even go to the same gym as me, but his girlfriend, wife now, he just happened to be there coincidentally both times I was dead on my feet doing a workout. And it literally looks like I'm just devastatingly just drunk trying to jump over a burpee over the bar. So Nicole is saying I literally yelled at my friend for 7 minutes straight. Do you have any open stories like that where it's like, man, looking back on it now, that was crazy?
I would say one of the things that has been, I guess, a little crazy in the open is I think the year I was competing with Dynamics, the first workout, it was the overhead walking lunges with the chest to bar pull-ups, and of course burpees, my favorite. And for you, do you know Ashley Cotler?
Yeah.
Her voice, when you can hear nothing else, her voice is like the voice of reason for me. It's, I don't know, from grid, from through the open, at the games, you can always hear Ashley's voice. And for whatever reason, towards the end of that 20-minute workout, I was just dead, but I could just hear her voice, like just telling me to keep on moving. And I don't know, you kind of have to experience it to know what I'm talking about. But Ashley Cotler.
It's so funny. It's so funny when people outside of the space experience a CrossFit competition for the first time. We look a little crazy. We look a little wild. Because I mentioned to you that my brother is a Marine. They don't do butterfly or kipping anything in their training. They do strict. So the first time I took him to a CrossFit gym to train, first of all, I was pissed because I was still perfecting my ring muscle ups. And this dude hops on rings and literally does one, like no practice, no instruction. And I was just like, seriously? Really? But anyway, he saw the whole class doing push-ups, and just the look on his face, like pull-ups. The reaction on his face was like, are they okay? Because everyone's like flailing on the bar, like having mini seizures, holding on to the bar to try to do this as fast as possible. And I just remember like thinking, oh, that's right. You're not exposed to this in any way. You've never seen this. So when people see the community, it can be a little bit intimidating, I think, sometimes, which is why I love that, at the same time, you have an entire gymnasium or an entire gym or an entire stadium of people cheering for the last person to finish. And that's what I think everyone who falls in love with the sport, can resonate with. Like, they love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I will, even though I don't competitively, participate in CrossFit today, I'm more of a weightlifter now. I will never not love that feeling of a complete stranger, coming over while I'm, doing bar over burpees and saying like, you got this, like, just, you're on the tail end, 3 more reps. I love that.
Yeah.
CH, did we have a speed round for Nicole this week? I forgot it. I didn't let you in on that.
If the answer is no, that's okay. Speed rounds really freak me out.
Do they?
Let's do that for a finale.
Great. I'm already sweating. Perfect. This is good. I'm literally terrified.
It's an easy one. You'll be fine with this.
You say that. Okay.
All right, here we go. Would you rather move fast or lift heavy?
Lift heavy.
Coffee or pre-workout?
Coffee.
Current sneaker rotation. Just give me like two or three.
Justin Timberlake 3s, my TS 1s, and Air Max 90s. They're multicolor.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't worn a pair of Air Max 90s in a long time.
Well, you should, because they make me happy.
Favorite brunch food?
Waffles, chicken and waffles, to be specific.
Oh, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
One exercise for the rest of your life?
Squats. Yeah.
And that about does it.
Okay, that wasn't
that
bad.
Not so bad. Not so bad.
I was really like, if he asked me for my favorite quote, I'm literally not going to be able to remember it right now. Thanks, guys.
No. Yeah, thanks.
I don't know what your mix of female to male listeners is, but for all the male listeners, I apologize about my constant reference to sports bras and boobs, but now you know what it's like to be my brother. He lives in this world, and he's just like, cool, I guess we're just talking about boobs for the rest of my career. Awesome.
Not necessarily a bad thing, right?
Well, thank you guys so much. It was actually super meaningful to me to do this interview today because today is Chestee's 7-year anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Happy 7. That's amazing. Happy 7 years. That's awesome.
Thanks. It's wild. Actually, last year we accidentally celebrated 7 years. I think we were just like so wanting 2020 to be like over and done with. We kind of just skipped over 6.
Right.
Oops. We looked at the paperwork and I'm like, yeah, we messed that up. It was so nice chatting with you guys. Thank you for letting me be myself, which is overly verbose, as usual.
Our pleasure.
I'm looking forward to yours when you're ready for it.
You will be on, so be thinking about who's going to co-host and co-interview you.
All right, I will.
You need to choose wisely, see?
All right, Nicole, we'll see you.
Thanks.
Bye, Nicole.
All right, there was Nicole Biscuiti from the Chestee, the DANDO. She's a busy lady.
Absolutely.
How do you maintain hustling for 7 years? You know, like the grind it's tough, right? How do you do it with Move Fast?
I think it's a certain kind of mentality or mindset. Like you have to be the type of person that is willing to just constantly learn, because that's really all of that it is from a day-to-day basis. You're constantly learning, right? Like Nicole said, no 2 days are ever going to be the same in terms of like what you're doing on a day-to-day basis as an entrepreneur. So as long as you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to learn something, you have what it takes.
Yeah. All right. I mean, if there was ever a statement to leave an inspirational episode, that would have been the one. So I think we're good to go there. You nailed it. All right, my guy, I'll see you for the next one. All right.
All right.
Later. All right, everyone. That'll do it. Once again, thanks to Nicole Biscuiti from the Chestee, Christian Harris, co-host and founder of Move Fast Lift Heavy. I'm Joe Roscoe. Don't forget to try a free trial of our MFLH online training program, and keep checking us out on movefastlift.com for our latest apparel drop. Later.
My name is Christian Harris. I'm a CrossFit athlete, coach, trainer, and founder of Move Fast Lift Heavy. MFLH has always been more than just apparel. It's a way to train, it's a lifestyle to live, and now we've leveled up that mantra by creating our online training platform. Move Fast Lift Heavy now provides personal online programming. The programming can be done either in a gym, with a garage gym setup, or even from the comfort of your own home with a dumbbell or even at body weight. This isn't just your typical workout block. You'll have unlimited access to our coaching staff to ask questions and submit technique videos. MFLH has always been more than just an apparel line. Now you can be a part of the team. Click the link to get started. Let's get to work.